Taj. So this is day 9 of 30 teams in 30 days, and we're talking about the Detroit Pistons. They moved into that new stadium this past season. They won't get to use it anymore because of COVID. They won't have any fans in there. But they finished 13th in the Eastern Conference, and I mean they have Blake Griffin. Blake is, you could argue, he's past his prime, or I don't know. He's still a good player, but he's not the
Argue.
explosive guy.
He is past his
Um,
prime.
yeah, and then they got Derrick Rose, and that's the only two people I know on this team. They got a bunch of other guys too, but what's going on with the Pistons?
Man, I don't. Pistons, bro. I don't know. Y'all must need to call Isaiah Thomas and Joe Dumas to do something with this team. They got rid of Stan Van Gundy. They brought in Dwayne Casey. That I thought Dwayne Casey was gonna do a good job, but the fact of the matter is that they just haven't had they haven't brought in a real team. Like they've always brought in a bunch of pieces who they thought would work and it just wouldn't work. You bringing in Blake Griffin to go with Andre Drummond. You got two guys clogging the backcourt. You bringing in guys like Reggie Jackson, a backup point guard, to be a starting point guard. Now you're bringing in a Derrick Rose who has been playing well. I want to admit, but it's just they just haven't brought in like a cohesive guys that you think could gel. I think that's been a problem with this team. Now, they were the 13th seed. I really thought they were going to do better than that because the year before they were there the last seed, and I think Blake Griffin was injured in the first round, so they got swept.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to be better than that, but I don't know. I guess midseason they saw that this team isn't going anywhere, and that Drummond contract. I don't know how good of a player Drummond really is. I don't think he's that good. Yes, you get rebounds, but I think a lot of guys can contribute to rebounds, and they got rid of him. So I was really happy to see that. And now they have a lot of cap space. They have about $40 million in cap space. The only ones that's really on this team for the long run is Blake Griffin. Then they got they got Tony Snell, they got Luke Kennard and Derrick Rose. And those are and the guy they just draft number 9 last year, Siko Dombaya. Those are really 5 guys that they really have on this team. Other than that, this team is really, I don't know. They could bring in a lot of guys. They have a lot of cap space. They don't have no committed contract other than those 5 guys, and most of those guys are going to be off the books after this year. It's only going to be Blake Griffin and Sikau next year. So I think the Pistons, believe it or not, I think the Pistons should go after Gordon Hayward. If Gordon Hayward opts out of his contract with the Boston Celtics, which he probably will because he probably want to sign another 4-year deal, I think they should go after Gordon Hayward. I think Gordon Hayward and Blake Griffin will be a good match for the Pistons. They're not going to get any superstars. You're not getting LeBron James. You're not getting Giannis. You're not going to get Kawhi Leonard. You're not going to get a Paul George. You better go after Gordon Hayward. I think Gordon Hayward will be a great play for them. I think him being in that role as the number one scorer again, maybe number 2 to Blake. I think he really excelled in that. You see, he averaged 17, 6, and 5 as the fourth option with Boston last year, and he really was the number one. He really was the point guard for the team. He was the ball handler. He was more of the point forward, and he really excelled. I think Gordon Hayward was getting back in shape. I think they should go after Gordon Hayward. I really think they should. If he doesn't opt out, maybe you trade the number 8 overall pick for Gordon Hayward. Like I don't know what kind of value you're getting at the number 8 pick. You've been picking late teens, early teens and late tens. They've been picking in those areas for the past 6-7 years, and they haven't really landed on any talent at those slots. So you might as well just go after some free agents, and maybe you could bring in a Gordon Hayward. Maybe you bring in a shooter. You need a shooter. They don't really have any shooting at all other than Luke Kennard. I think Joe Harris is going to be on the market. Maybe they go after Joe Harris. I don't know. You got guys like Brandon Ingram. I don't think Brandon Ingram is going to take you over the top if you're the Pistons. I don't think anyone is going to take you over the top, but I just don't think you need to pay a guy like Brandon Ingram. I think just don't. I don't think you need to waste some money on Brandon Ingram. Not that he's a bad player. It's just that I don't think he's that guy right now. I think you might as well just save your money and get some other role pieces. Bring in some veterans. Like I said, Gordon Hayward. Maybe you bring in a Joe Harris. Maybe you see who else out there. See if you could get some talent talent on the low. Maybe you bring back one of the Morris brothers, Marcus Morris. He was there about 3 years ago. Maybe you bring him back, and you could solidify one of the forward spots, because that's really their weak spot. And that's what you have to do if you're the Detroit Pistons. You're not getting any superstars at this point. You have not been drafting well, so I don't think you should be relying on your executives to draft well. So maybe you just need to go out some stars. Like Gordon Hayward is an all-star. Joe Harris, he is a 3-point champion. You know what I'm saying? Like bring in some guys like that, and I think they could probably make the playoffs with that team.
Yeah, if you're looking at the Pistons, they made the playoffs last year, and I thought I didn't think they was gonna be this bad this year. Blake Griffin is, I mean, he making $31 million. He isn't the Blake Griffin. I mean, he never was really like, a superstar player. He was like a highlight type of guy. But he's a pretty solid player, and he needs a point guard who could get him the ball. And if you look at inside when they had Lob City going, he had Chris Paul, a guy who could get him the ball, a pass first point guard. So I think that's something they might need to address. If you want to play to you want to get the most out of your superstar, and then you having Derrick Rose and then they had Reggie Jackson. Those are two score first point guards. Those guys, they don't really create for others. So I think that's something they might want to address. They probably should try and resign. I think Derrick Rose is a free agent. They probably might want to bring him back because.
Nah, he got another year. He got another year.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that's good. I mean, he played good for them. I think I can't remember what he averaged, but he was playing. He was playing. Really
that was 18 points. He averaged 18.
Yeah, but this team, I mean, I don't know none of these guys on this team. Like, if I'm being honest, I did not watch a Pistons game this season. It's just not an interesting. It's just not an interesting basketball team going on, and they got the cap space. You could, I mean, if you bring in, you got Derrick Rose, you got Blake Griffin, and then you probably you got to bring in someone who's a winner. You got a bunch of guys who put up a bunch of highlights, and past their prime type of guys right now, and Derrick Rose and Blake Griffin. But you got to bring in a winner. I mean, you got a ton of cap space. They could do a lot, and they have a star here in Blake Griffin. You could use that as a pitch to as free agents. We pay you with Blake, and we could do this and that. So they have. I mean, they have the flexibility to make something happen. But in terms of guys on this roster, man, I don't know what they could do with this. I got nothing.
All right, Pistons. This is what you should do. Listen to me. Call your GM. This is what you should do. If Gordon Hayward opts out, you go after Gordon Hayward. You probably need to pay him about $26, $27 million. You probably will have to pay him to get him there in Detroit. You go after Gordon Hayward. And on another note, DeMar DeRozan is going to be on the market. I don't think people realize. I think people forget about DeMar DeRozan. Dwayne Casey, who used to coach the Raptors when DeMar DeRozan was in his prime, he's now coaching the Detroit Pistons. Maybe he wants to reunite. I know he wants to get out of San Antonio. That's not a winning situation at this moment in time, not in the West. Maybe you see what DeMar DeRozan is saying. You get a Gordon Hayward. You get it Gordon Hayward. You get it DeMar DeRozan. That's about $40 million. Now you got about, let's say you got about $15 million left in cap space. That number 8 pick you got. Call Brooklyn. See what they saying about Karis LeVert. Maybe they want to, they won't have enough money to keep LeVert. Maybe they would try to get rid of LeVert. You know what I'm saying? They don't have enough money to keep him. Maybe they try to get some assets. Kind of dangle that number 8 pick around. See what they're saying about Karis LeVert. See what Montrez is saying. I don't think if Montrez is asking for more than $20 million, you hang the phone up. I don't think you should give him over that. But just see what he's saying. Or even see what Chris Paul. See what OKC is saying about Chris Paul. That number 8 pick. I don't think you should really give that up for Chris Paul because he has a lot of money on his contract. But just see what they're saying. Joe Harris is on the market. Bring in Joe Harris. Maybe you get Joe Harris for about $12 million. Now you got about $5 million left. You got Joe Harris, you got DeMar DeRozan, you got Gordon Hayward, you got Blake Griffin, you got Derrick Rose, and you still got about $6 million left in cap space. You sit on your bench, see what's happening. Bring in some guys. Like I'm saying, like that number, like just bring in those kind of guys. You just need a team. You don't get in the superstar. Please do not wait on the superstar. You're not probably getting a superstar for the next 10 years. Like it's not happening. The last time you got a superstar was in the 1980s, the late 80s. See, it's not happening in Detroit. You know what I'm saying? You're not going to get the bad boy Pistons. I mean, the bad boy Pistons of '04 again. It's not happening. So maybe you call around, see what they're saying. That number 8 pick, dangle that around. Oladipo is going to be on the trading market. See what they want for Oladipo. Maybe the Pacers give him up for cheap. You know what I'm saying? Like those kind of moves you can do. Even Atlanta, see what Atlanta is saying. They're always willing to make bad moves. I don't know. See, they probably give you John Collins for that number 8 pick. You just never know what's going on. Or maybe it's some things. It's a lot of ways this team can improve. The bright side is they got cap space, and the bright side is it's Detroit. Detroit it's cool. I don't think guys really but you got a good coach and you got cap space, and guys are going, and then you got a top 10 pick. You can improve this team, Detroit. Please do not just sit on your laurels and just be settled with this team. You can improve this team. Make some moves, Detroit fans. If y'all hearing me, call your GM, post up some signs. Do what y'all gotta do. Make your Twitter feed. Do whatever y'all gotta do. Talk about these moves. Make sure put some pressure on those executives over there. This scheme can be better.
Well, I don't think they can put pressure on the executives, but that best bet was try to bring DeMar DeRozan back, get him paired up with Dwayne Casey again. But you could argue DeMar DeRozan is past his prime too. Like, he should be like 31 now, 30. He wasn't that good inside of San Antonio, but he could still probably turn it up for this team. But then that still doesn't really address.
He's going to be in the East. He's going to be in the East. Last time we saw him in the East, he was the number 2. He was the number 1 seed. As a matter of fact, he was a top 2 seed the past 3 years in the East. He was in the West with the Spurs. It was loaded out there West. He's going to be East. I think he'll be a better player. He'll be an all-star if he comes back to the East. And I think moves like that will work.
Yeah, if they could get DeMar DeRozan, like maybe for he's not a max guy. You don't want to give him a max contract. If you could get him for like 25, maybe 20, I would do it. You might have to spend a little bit more, but if they could get DeMar DeRozan on this team with Blake Griffin and these guys, that's a playoff team for sure. They could probably get an 8 or 7 seed. I could see them doing that. They did it last season.
Yeah, like I said, this team has potential. Detroit is not one. At least it's not one of those cities or teams that we just deem that's terrible, like the Knicks. Like the Pelicans. We just look at those teams like the Hornets, like the Kings. We just look at those teams like the Phoenix Suns. We just look at those teams and we just say, well, not too much history and, not too much of winning has been going on in those cities. So we just kind of associate those teams with being terrible. Detroit is not like that. Detroit has had some winning seasons. They had some great players in their history. So I think it's about time Detroit gets back rolling. I think the East is better when Detroit is better. I think the rivalries and the toughness that Detroit brings to the NBA and to the East, I think I want to see that again. I want to see it again. I think a lot of fans out there want to see it again. So I don't know, Detroit fans, like I said, put some pressure on those execs. Y'all need to do something, but this team, it needs to get better, and it needs to get better now.